Son Goku was born as Kakarot on planet Vegeta to parents Bardock, Gine, and older brother Rad. He is then sent away to planet Earth 3 years later by Bardock in a stolen attack pod to prevent him from having his life taken prematurely by Frieza. A toddler Goku lands on planet Earth and encounters Grandpa Gohan, who adopts him and gives him his current name. At some point in time, Goku gets a serious head injury after falling into a ravine that causes his personality to change to that of a kind, good-hearted person. He trains with Grandpa Gohan for some time in the woods until one day, he accidentally kills Gohan in a state of rage brought on by the Saiyan race's natural transformation during the full moon. Goku continues to raise himself from this time until running into the young Bulma, who convinces Goku to travel with her on her journey to discover the 7 Dragon Balls. This indirectly leads Goku to begin a journey that causes him to protect the world from universe-ending threats such as the Demon King Piccolo, his brother Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta, Space Emperor Frieza, Perfect Cell, and the androids, Majin Buu, and even the gods and other immortals from his own and alternate universe. Goku currently lives on top of Kami's lookout, training Kid Buu's reincarnation Oob to take his place as Earth's protector. Yamcha starts off as a bandit living in the desert when he first encounters Goku, Oolong, and Bulma. He and Goku begin to fight, and Yamcha eventually gets the upper hand due to Goku being hungry. As he's about to go in to finish Goku, Yamcha instead retreats after realizing he's too much of a simp for Bulma. He then breaks into Goku and Bulma's van to try and steal the Dragon Balls, but instead ends up catching a felon. Eventually, Yamcha ends up joining Goku's team and even ends up training alongside both Goku and Krillin at the Turtle School under Master Roshi. Yamcha is in a relationship with Bulma for the majority of early Dragon Ball until he begins a lifetime of fumbles that starts with him cheating on her during the beginning of Z. Yamcha dies at the hands of a Cyberman when Nappa and Vegeta attack Earth, and spends his time in the afterlife training alongside King Kai, Tien, and the others. After this, Yamcha gets one-shot by the weakest android, Dr. Gero, after the androids begin their attack on the planet, and gets his ass whooped a few more times during the tournament and while helping the Galactic Patrol fight villains. Ultimately, Yamcha takes a lifetime of L's before he loses Bulma permanently to Vegeta. Master Roshi was born in age 430. He is the younger brother of fortune teller Baba and was trained under the legend Master Mutayata. During this time, Roshi meets Shen, and the two help the Master defeat the Demon King Piccolo at the cost of their master's life. Roshi then goes on to master the Kamehameha Wave technique after 50 years and win the world's martial arts tournament. At some point during this time, Roshi befriends the turtle that lives alongside him at the Kame House until the turtle gets lost at some point. After a whole year, Goku and Bulma find the turtle and Roshi asks to be introduced to them so he can thank them. Roshi gives Goku the flying Nimbus and is surprised to learn that he is pure of heart and actually capable of riding it. Bulma shows her cooter for Roshi's Dragon Ball, and Roshi accidentally ends up teaching Goku the Kamehameha by putting out a massive fire at the home of the Ox King. He then agrees to train Goku and begins preparing both Goku and Krillin for their first World Martial Arts Tournament. He then secretly participates in this event and ends up defeating Goku in the final round as Jackie Chan. Master Roshi later dies during a fight against the Demon King Piccolo in the same fashion his master previously had with the use of the evil containment wave. Roshi is brought back to life with the Dragon Balls and for the most part stays on the sidelines until the Tournament of Power arc and continues to remain active helping the protectors of Earth and Super. Krillin was born without a nose on October 29th, age 736. At first, he was a monk at Orin Temple, training there for 8 years before seeking out Master Roshi's Turtle School due to bullying. And there he meets Goku, and the two become bitter rivals before growing into allies over the time of their training. Krillin participates in and loses the World Tournament several times before having his life taken by a tambourine, only to be revived later on by the Dragon Ball. Krillin continues a lifetime of generational L's and is defeated or killed several more times after this, including at the hands of Frieza, Majin Buu, and Super 17. But despite this, Krillin finds love during the Cell Saga in the form of Android 18. He risks the entire planet in order to shoot his shot, uses the Dragon Balls to wish for her to be a human. The two then start a relationship and have their daughter Marin. And I almost forgot to mention, but now he's a police officer. Tien Shinhan is a member of the alien Triclops race, although he is an Earthling. He was raised and trained under Master Shen alongside Chiaotzu and first encounters Goku in a world tournament the two rival one another in. Tien ends up winning the first tournament between him and Goku, but Goku gains his respect as a fighter and causes Tien to change from his evil ways. Tien helps Goku fight against Demon King Piccolo and his children, and then gets absolutely fodderized by Goku the next time they fight. Tien stays a member of the team and helps fend off the Saiyan invasion, only to be killed alongside Yamcha, Chiaotzu, and Piccolo at the hands of Nappa. He trains in Otherworld with the others alongside King Kai, and continues to get bitched around by every villain he fights, except at one time he kinda pushes back Semi-Perfect Cell with his Tri-Beam. But he does continue to help the Z fighters with each major battle, even as recent as the fight against Moro in Super. Chiaotzu starts as Tien's Pokemon that only does anything he says. When the two arrive at the World Tournament, they cheat their way through the earlier round, and Chiaotzu ultimately ends up losing to Krillin in the quarterfinals. Chiaotzu then dies for the first time at the hands of Demon King Piccolo, only to be revived later on with the Dragon Ball. Chiaotzu's life gets cut short again when the Saiyans invade Earth after he unsuccessfully sacrifices himself by self-destructing against Nappa. Chiaotzu trains with the others on King Kai's planet and continues to fight alongside everyone well into the Moro arc. Yarobi was first introduced as a samurai hunting in the mountains as he's encountered by Goku. The two throw hands over a giant fish, and then Yarobi kills Piccolo's older brother. Simple. Yarobi acts mainly as a deliverer of senzu beans during each major fight of the series. He saves the life of Goku by catching him out of the sky after Goku defeats Demon King Piccolo. Yajirobe's biggest W of the series is when he clutches the fight against Vegeta for the Heroes of Earth by slicing off Vegeta's tail while he is transformed into a great ape. Yajirobe spends the rest of his days being an irrelevant side character. Piccolo Jr. is the reincarnation of Demon King Piccolo. He was conceived moments before Piccolo's death at the hands of Kid Goku and raised himself in the forest until the age of 4 when he faces off against Goku in the World Martial Arts Tournament. He loses and vows to defeat Goku in the future. When Raditz arrives, Piccolo and Goku join forces so the Saiyans don't clap both of their cheeks. And Piccolo ends the lives of Goku and his brother Raditz before taking in Gohan and training him to fight against the incoming Saiyans. Piccolo becomes Gohan's dad during this time and even sacrifices his life for Gohan when Nappa and Vegeta overwhelm the two. Piccolo trains in Otherworld alongside Tien, Yamcha, and the others and is revived with the Namekian Dragon Balls. He goes on to fuse with other Namekians like Kami and Nail and faces off against some of the strongest foes in the Dragon Ball universe like Android 17 and Frieza. Piccolo becomes a mentor to Goten and Trunks during the Buu Saga, teaching them the fundamentals of the fusion technique. Piccolo stays as one of the most strongest and prominent fighters well into Super during the tournament against Universe 6 and the Tournament of Power. He trains adult Gohan back into his prime and then unlocks a new form upon wishing for power from Shenron called Orange Piccolo. Now Piccolo is strong enough to stand against the strongest fighters in the multiverse. Gohan is the first son of Goku and Chi-Chi and the strongest warrior in the multiverse. At first, he was a timid boy that was kidnapped by his uncle, only to have his inner potential discovered by everyone the second he got angry. After this, Gohan begins training on his own to fight against the Saiyans and ends up being the one to defeat Vegeta during his attack. Gohan's major moment comes when he unleashes his inner power against Cell and becomes the first Super Saiyan 2 in the franchise. After this point, Gohan acts as the Great Saiyaman, a low-key zesty superhero fighting crime in his city. Then he becomes Ultimate Gohan after training with Supreme Kai and beats the fuck out of Super Buu. Gohan meets Videl in high school and the two go on to get married and have a daughter together named Pan. Gohan becomes a lame-ass scholar until the Tournament of Power when he locks in and starts becoming badass again. A new, even stronger Cell clone called Cell Max causes Gohan to lock into the Max and becomes something known as Gohan Beast. Gohan one-shot Cell Max and is now stronger than anyone else in the series. Vegeta is born on planet Vegeta, the first son of King Vegeta and heir to the Saiyan throne. He gets to be a prince for a while until the planet is blown up by Frieza. Vegeta then spends his time harassing different planets throughout the universe alongside Raditz and Nappa before arriving on Earth in pursuit of the Dragon Ball. Vegeta fights against Goku but ends up losing to Gohan before retreating in his space pod off the planet. He then runs back into the Z Fighters on planet Namek while in pursuit of the Namekian Dragon Balls and ends up indirectly teaming up with them in order to defeat the Frieza Force and use them to get his wish for immortality granted. Vegeta wipes out most of the Frieza Force until his life is taken at the hands of Final Form Frieza himself. He cries like a little bitch and begs to be avenged before he is revived on New Namek by Dende's wish. Vegeta then moves into Bulma's cheeks on Earth and begins clapping them, creating a son by the name of Trunks. Vegeta finally becomes a Super Saiyan after everyone else does, and then chills out for a few years before going right back to being a little bitch the second he is granted an opportunity to get more power. He becomes Majin Vegeta and ends up sacrificing himself in order to atone for his sins and defeat Majin Buu, only to be unsuccessful. Vegeta then helps Goku defeat Kid Buu by getting the shit kicked out of him long enough for Goku to charge a spirit bomb. He also admits Goku is better than him until they become gods later on, and the two spend the rest of their days parenting and beating the shit out of each other. Trunks is the son of Bulma and Vegeta and first enters the story from the future in order to warn us about the android. He stays behind and trains in order to defeat the androids and Cell, ends up dying but is revived with the Dragon Balls and sent back to his original time. Then, the baby Trunks from our version of the timeline grows up a bit and starts fighting too. He wins in the world tournament against Goten, and the two learn the fusion technique and become the world's best hope against Super Buu. Then they pretty much become irrelevant side characters and are kept on the sidelines forever. Android 17 is a femboy robot created by Dr. Gero that, along with his twin sister, ended up wreaking havoc that destroyed the entire world in the original timeline. In our version of events, 17 kinda gets his ass flipped by Piccolo, gets absorbed by Cell, and then becomes a park ranger until the Tournament of Power, where he clutches up and uses his infinite energy to basically win the Tournament of Power for Universe 7. He then wishes back into existence every one of the erased universes from the tournament. Android 18 is the twin sister of 17. She comes into the series by breaking Vegeta's arm while he's a Super Saiyan, getting absorbed by Cell, and then ends up letting Krillin crack because he used the Dragon Balls to remove the robotic bombs Gero planted in her. She then ends up marrying Krillin and having a daughter with him that he names after his ex-girlfriend Mary. Goten is the second son of Goku and Chi-Chi and the best member of the Z Fighters. He was born directly after the fight against Perfect Cell and has Goku's natural love for fighting. Goten is also the youngest Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball history, having achieved the form for the first time at the age of 3 and being able to casually enter the form at the age of 7. He goes on to fight against Trunks Trunks in the World Tournament, train with Piccolo in order to learn the fusion technique, and become Goten, and eventually settles down fighting in order to spend time chasing the Hug. Majin Buu is an artificial demon that wreaked havoc on Universe 7 by annihilating entire galaxies throughout the universe. He was then split into two separate entities, one made of his good and the other from his evil. Good Majin Buu becomes a fat good guy that eventually ends up buddying up with Hercule and becoming a major member of the team. The other Majin Buu eventually turns into Kid Buu, which is then killed off by Goku. He uses the Dragon Balls to wish that Kid Buu be reincarnated as a good guy, thus turning Kid Buu into Oob. Oob is now a member of the Z Fighters, being trained by Goku to become the new protector of Earth whenever Goku is absent.